Hi, I'm Allison of Bebop and Knit, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do the 3 needle bind off for the Layers Cowl. For today, I'm going to be showing you on the pint-sized version of the Cozy Layers Cowl. And for this particular cowl, I'm going to be picking up 35 stitches, which is the same number of stitches I have hovering on my needles still. I'll be picking up 35 stitches along 45. So I'll be skipping 10 stitches as I go. For this, I'll be picking up 4 stitches, skipping 1, picking up 2 stitches, skipping 1 until the end, and picking up as many as I need to hit that 35. All right, so the first thing that you'll do when you get to the desired length of your cowl, and know that with 2 color fisherman's rib or any double fabric, it's pretty, squishy. And so when you block it, you'll get quite a bit of length if you are not being intentional of managing your size. So just be aware of that as you are going along. Really follow the measurement instructions as well as the weight instructions listed inside the pattern. For those of you that are doing the adult sizes of either the cozy or light layers, just pay attention to the number of pickup stitches that you'll be doing, but the principle will stay the same. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you snip your whichever of your main color or contrast color yarns that you don't want to be binding off with. For this particular one, I chose to bind off with this lovely blue color, which is my contrast color technically. The nice part about this cowl though is that honestly it can go either way. All you would do is flip it, so either it's going this way with your corner this direction, or as I'm going to be doing it, which is how it calls for in the pattern, is facing this direction. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I turn my work so that way I have this I-cord edge facing me, and I clip at my 45 stitch mark just so I know where I'm at. All right, so with this I-cord edge, you've got this really beautiful circular kind of tidy edge. And what I typically do is I look and see, okay, so I've got this really pretty, essentially a braid, right, going all the way up my row. So I'm going to pick up this singular leg. I only pick up one leg, so that way I have this V intact, and I don't want to pull up too much from the other side, okay? So I'm going to be using a second needle to pick up my stitches, and I pick them up like this. Oops. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 'oops. Wow, this one really doesn't want to pick up. Okay, 3, 4. Now I'm going to skip the next one, which is a blue stitch, and I'm going to go for that orange one. 1, oops, 1, 2, and again I'm going to skip this orange stitch and go for the blue one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'm going to keep doing that all the way down, picking up 4, skip 1, pick up 2, skip 1. And as you can see, I still have this really lovely alternating color row going all the way up. And it's just for aesthetic appeal that I did this. You really only need the 1 stitch. You are welcome to go into both legs, but I think it's unnecessary. So yeah, and I highly encourage skipping stitches, otherwise you get a very stiff bind off, which is great if you want it to really like hold up along your neck, especially if you like your cowls a little bit tighter. For my own preference with this cowl, I wanted it to lay a little bit more flat on my chest, and just add some extra warmth to like the bottom of my neck and the top of my chest. So yeah, this is part 1 of this bind off. We'll check back in once all the stitches are picked up. All right, so now that we've picked up all of our stitches along this edge, we're going to be starting our 3 needle bind off. With the 3 needle bind off, you'll want to make sure that you have 3 needles of either circular needles, fixed or interchangeable, or double pointed needles that are long enough to accommodate the number of stitches on your needle as well, or having a single pointed needle, but having your, obviously making sure that your needle is facing where you can work the stitches correctly. That kind of goes without saying, but yeah, so it really doesn't matter. I'm using kind of everything. I've got a fixed circular needle, interchangeable circular needle, and then just a needle tip. If you are if you're someone who knits very tightly, I highly recommend going up a needle size. Otherwise, just knit your bind off loosely, which is what I'm choosing to do. I typically knit, I guess, on the looser end, and especially with Tubular Fisherman's Rib, I knit on the looser end. But I also am just going to be intentionally loose with my bind off. All right, so we're going to start our bind off using, or starting from the corner right up, so that way our bind off is facing the right direction, or pointing the right direction, to match the rows we've knit. So I'm gonna hold my needles parallel, the needles along the seam, and I'm gonna start by inserting my needle knitwise into both, or the first stitch on both needles. Then I'm going to knit them both together, so knit 2 together, and very gently pull the stitches off of my needles. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to knit 2 together by inserting my needle into the stitches on both needles, and then knit 2 together and slip off. Now is a slightly tricky part. I leave my front needle like kind of hovering, and using my back needle, I slip the first stitch over the second stitch, and that's it. That's my first 3 needle bind off stitch. So it doesn't really matter which needle you use to slip it over. You can use your fingers to slip those stitches. You can use your front needle, back needle, really doesn't matter. Whatever is comfortable for you and helps you not drop all of these stitches as you're pulling them off. All right, I apologize. Received a phone call right in the middle of the video. So what I'm doing is I'm knitting those 2 stitches together, pulling off my needles, and slipping that stitch. All right, so let me do that a couple more times so you can kind of see how that works, and then I can show you that exposed seam really nicely. Knit 2 together, slip off, slip the previous stitch over my last work stitch, knit 2 together, slip, knit 2 together, and slip. All right, pull that so it doesn't fall off, and there you go. There's my exposed seam, and you'll see that it's going parallel to my I-cord edge, so you'll get this really cool effect of having your I-cord edge in those 2 colors going up, then your exposed seam, and I chose to use my contrast color, which is technically this side's main color. But it, like I said, really doesn't matter. Use your whatever you'd like. You can use a pop of a totally different color. It's your cowl, whatever makes you happy. So yeah, that's how you do the 3 needle bind off. You'll continue along until all of the stitches are worked on both needles, and at that last stitch, you'll just bind it off like normal. You'll end up with just that one stitch. You'll pull your yarn through, and you'll weave in your ends. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me with this tutorial, and I hope you enjoy knitting and binding off the Layers Cowl.